What is G.I. Joe retaliation facing that could be even more evil than Cobra? Could we be beaming up to the Enterprise in just 2 decades? Maybe. What do Jennifer Love Hewitt and Hannibal Lecter have in common? I'm glad you asked. We're going to tell you. All that, plus we've got the latest multiverse news, flight test land report, and an interview you really want to see. That's all coming up on today's jam-packed installment of Slice.
Covering all the news from every dark corner of the universe.
Hello from the children of planet Earth.
Hola y saludos a todos. Merci que bation qui orten.
Sliceofsci-fi.com.
And welcome everyone to another Slice of Sci-Fi. I'm Michael Armenengay.
I'm Brian Brown.
I'm Sam Roberts.
I'm Tim Adamick.
I'm Tom Kelly.
Awesome. Just us.
Hello.
Welcome back. Hey, Tomo, what's going on?
Greetings. Everything's great, man.
Guess what? We got some news.
Ooh, let's do it.
And now the news.
Actually, it's kind of a rhetorical question, Tom. Really. It's just, we know we got
Those are my favorite kind.
Yeah, if you think the dream of exploring our universe in a starship similar to the Enterprise of Star Trek is a dream that is 100 years away, maybe, maybe 1,000, one engineer who goes by the online handle of BTE Dan thinks we could be doing it if we follow his plan in 20 years.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Now, over at his website, Build the Enterprise, the systems and electrical engineers set out a specific 20-year plan that could see us sending our own version of the Enterprise to the moon in the near future.
Okay.
The first 9 years are dedicated to research, component testing, and drawing up a number of possible blueprints. The following 11 years are dedicated to development, where components will be manufactured and launched into space for assembly. On year 20, the ship would be ready for a moon flyby with a full crew and supplies. The estimated cost of building the Enterprise, folks?
$20 billion?
No. More.
21 billion.
A trillion.
$30 billion.
$50 billion a year for the next 20 years.
Wow.
$1 trillion in total.
The prize goes to Uncle Mike.
Uncle Mike gets it.
So just a little bit under the deficit.
Yeah,
pretty much.
So.
Easy.
Aside from the benefits of exploring space, the creator of Build the Enterprise believes that the Mammoth Project will have benefits here on Earth as well.
Of course it will.
Above all else, the Enterprise will inspire us.
Yeah.
And some of those inspired by this undertaking will surely be American young people, many of whom will likely be motivated to pursue their careers as scientists and engineers. That's what he said.
Okay.
So, interesting. Warren Ellis talked about it on his site, too. It's kind of interesting.
But the guy actually laid out a detailed, 2-decade plan.
Yeah.
Good for him. He must have spent a lot of time on it.
Wow. Why not? It's not any more crazy than anything else
Right?
going on in the world
No
right
crazier
now.
than owning
Absolutely.
High school
property.
kids are building Vipers.
Yeah.
What the hey?
Why not?
Property on the moon.
Transporter included?
I don't know.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
No transport.
That's what I
That's
want.
another $1 trillion,
Yeah.
I think.
That's what I want. Oh, you're just going to get up and materialize at work.
Yeah.
No, actually, I don't want that.
Yeah, me either.
No, me either.
I do really. That'll
do.
give me more sleep time.
Hate traffic.
Amen. If you were anxiously awaiting the big screen release of G.I. Joe Retaliation, and oddly enough, despite my hatred of the
Not
first
really.
movie, I am.
Really?
Really?
I love The Rock and I love Bruce Willis. They sucked me back in. Just sucked
you're
me
right.
in.
You're right.
We've
I'm
got
on there.
bad news, though.
Oh, no.
Paramount has decided the film won't open later this month, but will instead wait until March next year before it begins its assault on theaters.
Wow.
Really?
And while
Shouldn't that
making-
be assault on viewers?
It's entirely possible, but it's Bruce and The Rock. It's two badass ball guys. And while moving a movie from summer season to the doldrums of March could seem like Paramount has lost faith in the film, which we don't really expect to be good anyway, putting it in the usual dumping ground, that might not be the big case because instead, dun dun dun, the studio is pushing back the release so that it can be
in 3D.
Re-edited.
converted to 3D.
Of course.
No.
Yeah.
He's so dead.
Like, that worked so well for Clash of the Titans, they thought they'd do it for G.I. Joe.
Why not?
I hate you people. I hate
Especially
you.
that word converted.
Right, if it's filmed in, that's one thing. But, I mean, that thing
Converted.
was ready to go next month. You know what I mean? They're stopping it, and they're up-converting it. And that is disaster for action movies. Just don't do it.
Okay, folks. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Spoiler alert. Spoiler alert. Seriously, if you don't want any spoilers.
Walking Dead spoiler alert.
Walking Dead spoiler alert. When actor John Barenthal took on the role of Shane in The Walking Dead, he never read a panel of Kirkman's comic book at all, so he didn't know anything on it. Barenthal says that once he got the role, he began reading the comic books and was shocked to discover his character just dies really in the first book, kids.
Oh, no.
Yeah. So while Shane on the series lived longer than in the comic books. Spoiler right there, folks. Shane goes, basically Barenthal told the panel at the Phoenix Comic-Con, which we were at. I didn't see his panel, though, unfortunately.
I missed it. I was busy working.
But he said he had a different concept of how Shane would die. Now, in Barenthal's vision for the end of Shane, things would go similar to how they did on screen, with Rick and Shane struggling and Rick knocking the gun out of Shane's hand before stabbing and killing Shane.
Mm-hmm.
Shane would still resurrect as he did on the show, with Rick grabbing the gun to shoot him, but only to find it empty. Yes. Barenthal says the idea was that Shane knew he had cancer to the group. He was a cancer to the group specifically, and that he never intended to kill Rick. Instead, the final act would be to force Rick to accept his role as the leader of the group and make the choice he was supposed to make all along.
I don't think Shane would have ever been that self-sacrificing. I just didn't see it in the character.
No, he's kind of a weasel.
But when you're an actor playing kind of a bad guy, you've got to justify that bad guy in your head, right? So I can see him thinking that.
Whatever.
Isn't This Is Fun a good enough reason?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, well, depends on the character. So Thomas Harris's Silence of the Lambs is one of the hottest properties in Hollywood again these days.
Really?
Oh, yeah. NBC has announced we'll get a series focused on Harris's famous serial killer Hannibal the Cannibal for the upcoming 2012-2013 TV season.
Ugh.
And
TV?
now,
Really?
On TV.
And,
Yes,
but
wow.
wait for it. And now the channel, which has given us Jennifer Love Hewitt's The Client List,
Oh, dear God.
has given the green Lifetime. That's right, Lifetime has given the green light to a series focusing on Clarice Starling. That's gonna go so well. Too bad Jennifer Love Hewitt is already on the other show because she'd be so good.
Oh, man.
Clarice, which is the name of the show, would follow Clarice Starling just after she graduates from the FBI Academy and begins her career.
And her various love affairs with criminals.
So the NBC version, produced by Brian Fuller, is a prequel to Silence and would would not feature a young version of Clarice. It instead deals with FBI agent Will Graham.
It's on
Who
Lifetime.
finds
so that
himself
means
working alongside the titular killer, solving crimes
she's
together.
a strong female. She's armed and she can kill those bastard men.
And her boobs are going to be pushed up to her chin.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
There you
It's
go.
gonna be great.
Do you still hear the lambs, Clarice?
Are the lambs still screaming?
Are the lambs still screaming, Clarice?
Something screaming in my
Do we
head.
have enough time for one?
One more.
Okay. So Judge Dredd creator John Wagner says he's seen the final cut of the upcoming reboot, which I'm excited about.
Yes!
Really?
Yes, Carl Urban, man. Carl Urban.
Absolutely. And he gives it his blessing.
Wow.
Wagner recently revealed in London where he was shown a screening of the film with Carl Urban taking over the title role. And despite one minor quibble at the film's beginning, Wagner writes on Facebook, "This is Dredd as it should be done. True
Wow.
to character, visceral, unrelentingly violent.
Yes.
And not off-puttingly so.
I am the law.
Yeah. I am the law. It'll open, I believe, sometime in September. No doubt you'll let me know what you think when you've seen it, but this is my recommendation, he says.
Okay.
Yay.
I'm good with that. Something needs to happen with that movie because
That's
I
right.
got to get that other one out of my brain.
Right?
How come I don't got a locker?
Okay, on that note, let's move on to some other news.
This is the Neutron Media Network.
Fuck you. Stop.
Good evening and welcome to Good Evening with Lance Neutron. Good evening. I'm Lance Neutron. And what a fantastic looking crowd we have out in the studio. Not as fantastic as me, though. Why are they laughing? Our next guest is a super mega pop star from Iceland, and she's here to promote her new science fiction movie. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome Bjork. What do you mean I'm pronouncing it wrong? That's how it's spelled. Good evening, Bjork. I'm Lance.
Lance is a name like an angry lobster, and also it jumps out of the pudding and makes a home in my ear blisters.
Fantastic. Anyway, tell us about this new science fiction movie you're working on.
No, it's not science fiction.
It's more of like a fantasy, right?
No, it's not a science fiction or fantasy. Just a regular movie of my daily life.
No, I've seen clips from this. This can't possibly be your daily life.
Yes, every morning I wake up and I'm excreted from a seething polyp on my ceiling, and I fall for 3 hours into my morning bath of sour milk and hay. On breakfast, I try to talk to my cat man and wife Peter's third husband, but he's playing his Jetto blaster too loud with the sounds of crying boulders. So I'm off to my meeting with the exploding moss creatures, but I'm tired of their exploding all the time, and anyway I'm sick to see my baby with grandfather face and fingers for eyes and spoons for hands that are always scooping up spinal caterpillar eggs all the time. Yes, she's a funny baby, but she's far away, so I skip my gorilla dentist appointment and I ride the dirty jello bison with scales like muddy tongue-shaped sacks full of snail butter to see her.
Oh, I get it. So you're a crazy person.
You have the sweet terror face. Do I have permission to bite your hair?
Whoa, security!
Step away from Mr. Neutron's hair. You have 10 seconds to comply.
Oh, very shiny.
Fantastic. Join us next week and we'll learn how to know when your queen is assimilating another collective.
I'm sending my apprentice, Darth Maul, to join you. You have been well trained, my young apprentice.
Brian Brown from Slice of Sci-Fi with Sam Roberts, and look at all these fine folks we have with us. We have all these fine folks from Eureka. Colin, Jamie,
hey guys.
Sally, and Deborah. You know who they are, folks. We're not going to go into it at all. So, because why bother? If you're tuning in for this, you know they're from Eureka. You know what they do. This is the last season. We're very, very sad for this. But it's been an awesome, awesome season so far. It's just been gut-wrenching and heartfelt, and it's been really an amazing end to this all, I think. And it's kind of sad that it's ending, but I think it's, as Jamie and we talked to him earlier, it's such a high note for you guys to go out on. Yeah, so, I mean, obviously, you know, it's heart-wrenching for you guys, right? To a degree. Because, I mean, you've spent
7 years.
7 years.
But there's also a sense of completion to it. Yeah, I mean, as much as there are wistful moments and it's really sad, you know, to complete a show 6 years in, I mean, shows don't go much longer than that anyway. So, like, to complete it, there's a huge sense of satisfaction. And to go out on top, sort of, this is the best stuff that we've done. Like, full stop. So to go out on this season, there's a bit of, like, you know, satisfaction with that.
Because I can't imagine they had any more in them.
No, he was.
I think he had peaked.
Yeah, I would say for me it's bittersweet, mostly because I actually really do love working with these guys. That was, you know, the cast and crew that we've had on the show has been amazing, and the writing staff, and so I think it's going to be hard to replicate this crew that we've had working on the show. After, you know, 7 years together is a long time. You have a sort of a well-oiled machine, and creatively, it would have been great to have that final 6th season that we could have sort of had a more organic build to the finale. But, you know, it's a good thing to be challenged to write a finale in 5 days and shoot it, you know, and he did it. So,
anyone can do it.
So he did it. So,
Sam, do you have anything?
So I want to know, Beverly, right, the episode that just aired had some interesting stuff with Beverly in the last couple of ones, and then she was out of there, disappearing. And I know we can't say spoilers, but do we get some closure with her this season? And kind of, because she's a really interesting character to me. Ostensibly the bad guy, but really maybe
gray.
some decent motives. I love that grayness.
She's great. Jamie's staring at you. I just want
you to know. What are you allowed to say?
He's like,
what are you going to say, Deborah?
I would say whenever Beverly disappears, she goes to a wonderful place in the south of France, and she reflects on what just happened. And, I think that
that's the episode that I wanted to shoot.
So reflecting in Paris.
I have to say, I think Jamie and his team did an amazing job of wrapping up a lot of different storylines.
Okay, so we'll get something there. Hopefully.
I hope so.
Good answer.
I think Deborah will be back at some point.
Awesome.
Yeah. We could say that.
Awesome.
There's a scene I'm thinking of. Has it aired?
No.
Okay.
Okay, so no talking.
No calling.
Tell us
I'm the wrong guy to ask
It's been
questions
7
to,
years.
clearly.
So, that's perfect. So, Colin, is Nathan Stark coming back?
That's right.
Ah, he's great. And when he murders me, it's so sad.
Sweet, thanks.
And then he marries Sal.
You said too
Happy
much.
ending.
We had a big cliffhanger, and then we found out that we were ending. So it was really hard to resurrect Carter from having been stabbed to death.
Yeah.
Then that shotgun wedding. With
I prefer
awesome-
exsanguinated.
Exsanguinated.
It was pretty awesome.
That is awesome. So, Sally, we talked to you, like I said, a couple weeks ago, and your episode that you directed just aired, and I was just like, "Wow, what a really complex episode for you to direct."
And so well done. It was so well done.
Amazingly well
like,
done.
It was helmed. Like there's some stuff that's like really well written and it comes across really well, and then there's other stuff where like that was really well helmed. She did a phenomenal job of shot construction through that.
Absolutely, and that's what I was thinking of. I'm like, how complex and how just, it flowed. It didn't, because sometimes you see, complex shots and they're just like, but this went smooth as butter all the way through.
Jamie challenges me. Even my first script they gave me to direct, I was like,
This was the big Omega Girls with Beverly Barlow's taking over.
Yeah, and then I got that one, and I'm like, Jamie, what are you doing to me? I gotta get a disaster one. What are you doing? I'm like, okay.
It showed that we had confidence.
But I appreciate that, and I really love directing action, and it was a challenge, and but the show gave me a very big opportunity. I mean, Colin and Joe, all three of us, to really work on something I think that we all want to do in the future. And a lot of shows and a lot of creators and a lot of networks don't give you that opportunity anymore. So it was very important. And besides acting on the show is pretty much the biggest gift that I was given from doing the show.
You can't unaccomplish something. Like once you've done it, you've done it. You can never, nobody can ever take that away from you. You've directed and that you know how to do it. It's a huge gift.
All three of you directed.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Oh, yeah.
That's true.
No, I was thinking of but I was thinking of the gift that you
I
gave
ignored
me.
it too. It's totally fine.
I'm not even here, actually.
So it's over. You don't need to
Empty chair.
And of course, Jamie, it was his first time too, and he did a wonderful job.
He did.
And
you guys made it easy for me.
Your episode was like one of the funniest we've ever had.
Yeah, hands down.
And that's what I was going to ask. Another question I was going to ask too. Sorry, I'm saying your because you have a question too. But
It doesn't really matter.
But the fact that the episode where you switch bodies and you have to take on, you have to take on Neil Grayson's character, which is amazing. You have to take on his character, and just to see, you look at you and you go, my God, that's Colin, really, his character in your body, and vice versa.
How hard was that?
I love Colin being me. When I watched the episode,
hilarious.
You sitting, but me in the bed, you being me in the hospital bed, sitting there, and you're like. He's like, do you? So you never thought of me or whatever? Joe says you.
That little look down.
No.
Not really.
Did you guys rehearse any of that? I mean, it was one of my favorite episodes. I was telling Colin, I actually texted Colin. It was this work. If this was on ABC, he'd be getting nominated for an Emmy. So it was an excellent
really,
work.
really fun to do. I mean, we didn't get a chance to work on it as much as we wanted to because the episode before was a bit of a nightmare, if I remember correctly. And
we had shot out of order.
Yeah, so we were picking up a bunch of pieces, and then we sort of had to fall into it. I mean, it was so lucky to be around each other. For the scene where I was Sally, I mean, it was like, oh great, I have to be, and I'm in bed. I can't stand. I can't. You know what I mean? Right. So I have to sort of cheat a bit with being a little more arch because I only have my face to work with.
But it was also challenging because you couldn't be so broad that it would tip off Joe that you weren't you. I mean, so it was like when we talked about it, I said, I'm going to play most of this in close-up reactions, like, so she's sort of talking about how pretty she is. Just sort of give me a look away, and
you missed the takes though. I did a whole series of takes like Dame Edna, which didn't really work.
I'm not like you.
Maybe we can get those on a DVD.
Yeah, Jamie was like, just take it down, just a bit. That's
the best thing about Colin is that he actually gives you a huge range of stuff to choose from.
Right.
And he's like, the less, I'm like, you know what, I got it. I got something to choose from there. We're all set.
Wouldn't it be great if I did like,
I would ask you guys, but didn't it, when Sally played Beverly, it was so challenging because I thought she was so much better, and she was walking down the hallway
right,
being
you guys have
Beverly,
done all this
and
before.
she
This
did
is all happened to you.
And it's easier to be Beverly than to be
Gender, right?
Yeah.
Because
Really?
well,
Well,
I
it is
mean,
because-
because you, I have to just be sexy. Like she's
Him, you have
just
to
sort
be
of
sexy and saucy.
Well, I told him, I said, you're lucky some of this Botox is going on. There's no way. He kept going, can't you just crinkle your face? I'm like, this is all I got. That's all I can do.
But it's
Because
true,
that's Colin, and she has a lot of face
Yeah,
stuff.
he
It's
Now I
like,
came out of it, like, now I had a headache after doing the first scene. He's like, my forehead hurts.
all I can do for you.
Well, it is changing sexes is hard because you can't go. You don't want to go so broad
Right.
that you farce it up. It's really tough.
I try to give them all, like, just little mannerisms, especially when everybody else was channeling Colin, because Colin does have this fantastic
Yes.
forehead, and he's constantly kind of thinking.
And he
So
puts his head to the side.
So like a Shar Pei, basically. Is what we're saying.
So I did. I asked them all. I said, okay, when you guys are him, sort of think about that, sort of putting pieces together, and that's when she yelled at me across the set.
This is
This
all
is it.
as much as
The
my
Botox is
face.
not going to let me do any more than this. And then Niall, seriously, Niall's like, how does he do this all day? He was like, had to go to the
And I was
mirror.
exhausted playing Grayson. I mean, talk about someone who doesn't stop moving all the
Yeah.
time. He's always doing something. Looking around, I was like, this is exhausting.
Well, the way that you guys walked like each other, especially in that first scene, when you come in and you first see each other, and then when you walked out of the room, and you're starting to exaggerate.
My favorite scene is you walking up when you're in the police car to give her the ticket with the slow with the glasses. That
was a
when
fun
you're
day.
Niall. That's funny.
That was
or
fun.
whatever.
And then it's like I get out there and I had done the whole thing. I wanted the Eric Estrada glasses, and we put that through. And then we get out there, and that was like that first time as a director where you realize, and Colin pointed out to me, mirrored glasses. That's the whole camera crew and everybody back there. So we had to cheat it so that he was kind of looking down so that you wouldn't see it too much. And I had to be there with my visual effects guy, Matt Gore, saying, are you going to be able to blur this if we have to?
Well, that's one of the things. You make a choice, then all of a sudden you have the technical
now you can
restrictions.
sort of
Where
cover
they say, do
yourself.
the whole scene, but you really have to keep your head down. So you're like, okay.
But that helped with
And
the
other characters. This is odd.
It turns into this.
I don't feel real sexy like this.
And hit your mark. Yeah, all over this. You're like, great.
That was great, though. That was fun, and a pretty good-looking cast to be able to have doing this.
Oh,
especially. I got everybody naked. I warned you guys.
I know. I thought it was hilarious.
And I just tell you, just let me know. I'm like, you need to if you want me naked, let's get it in the early part of the season.
Right.
And then I can start eating and we'll be okay.
That's right.
Yeah.
So I said, you got 3 months to get into sexy shape, and man, they all were.
Yeah, I saw the Twitter feed when you got out of bed. Are you kidding?
Why have you been hiding this under clothing? What's wrong with you?
Oh, and I'm sure the ladies were like, Niall.
Well, and then there's the other challenge of Colin is a good-looking guy.
he was too.
And then he has to make
middle of the road.
And then
guy.
he has to make fun of and he's having to poke fun at this, and so half the other audience is saying, "Oh yeah, like that's that's soft and doughy." Come on,
Not as compared to Niall. I mean, it's ridiculous.
Colin was really great about being willing to make fun of himself. Everything that I had written, he was actually, I think you can go harsher than this. I'm like, really? Okay, I said,
this won't age well. Look.
So we were like running up and down that scene when he was looking in the rearview mirror, and he's like, "Feed me more lines." And I was like, "All right, I'm throwing things out," and he's throwing things out. It was fun. Yeah.
You guys did some crazy things over these 7 years.
It's been a
That's
long
what's
time.
great
Absolutely.
about sci-fi is that you can really go into your imagination.
Well, we got to do our version of every movie ever.
Pretty much.
And there's no other show that you can do that on. Sort of like we did our Journey to the Center of the Earth. We did our Zombie Attack. We did our, it's crazy.
Yeah, we did our Jurassic Park, and we get to do basically our underwater episode coming up, directed by Mr. Ferguson.
Yes.
Oh,
and
my apologies. I tried.
It's the one failure of the season, but other than that, the rest of them are great.
The rest of them are great.
No, this is it's a huge episode, and Joe Morton's episode that he directed is coming up, which is also I think a favorite of mine. So it's been a really strong
just a
season.
season of high notes.
Oh my God, I forgot that we've got Alexander's coming up too. Smarter Carter is a great one.
Where Dredd comes in.
Yes.
My husband comes in. It's my brother.
I heard. That's exciting.
No, it's really comfortable.
And we have to kiss each other in front of my husband.
Yeah.
It's great.
Yeah, I apologize before and after.
Okay, did he get jealous?
Oh, he hit him. No.
He was great. He was awesome. I was a wreck, but he was awesome. He's like, whatever.
I'm like, hey, Colin, you have to actually act like you want to kiss Allison in this. And he's like, yeah,
Dre's here. Dre's here.
Oh, wow.
Don Ray's right off camera going, yeah, why don't you kiss my wife again? Yeah, it was hilarious.
Oh, I think unfortunately we're out of time for you guys. But
Thank you so much.
No. Fantastic stories. Thank you for spending time for you. We just don't want to make you late for your next event. So,
all right then.
All right, folks. That's it for Slice of Sci-Fi.
Thanks for watching, guys.
The fantastic folks from Eureka.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Oh, that was awesome, awesome,
So
awesome
much fun.
stuff.
I'm so disappointed I missed that.
I tell you.
Me too.
I'm just really bummed that we're completely out of time for this show.
No kidding.
It was all interview this week. So you know where to find us. SliceSci-Fi.com, SliceSci-Fi.tv. Check us out on a lot of new places that are out there.
Like us on Facebook?
On Facebook, absolutely.
We're on the Twitters, apparently Pinterest now.
Pinterest and
Chill.
And chill.com, which is a new little site that's kind of cool. You might want to check it out.
Kind of chill?
Yeah,
Just a
kind of
little.
chill thing. Anyway, thanks so much. We'll be back with more very soon.